Colleen Garcia has transferred to Eat Bulaga after being terminated from Showtime. Shocking. A lot of people were truly shocked when Coleen Garcia was terminated from its Showtime. She claims that it was her decision to leave the show, for her to be able to focus on her acting career, and also she clarified she will no longer come back to its Showtime. But then a few days after this news broke out, a rumor has circulated online. Some people claim that Coleen Garcia has already transferred to the rival show of its Showtime, which is Eat Bulaga. The rumor started to spread when a photo of Coleen Garcia and Alden and Juan For All For Juan has gone viral online. However, there are some who claims that the photo was just fake and edited. Invite you to watch the video. Davao bombing mockery. Netizens lambasted her for insensitive and controversies a joke on the Davao bombing. After the Davao bombing incident on Davao that happened last night, the online community is on a fuss. News feeds are filled with prayers, regards, and sympathy for the Philippines' alleged safest city. However, it seems like not everyone feels the same way for Davao. Netizens are outraged after another netizen named Jean Nunez Ladra posted claiming that Davao is not that safe after all. She claimed that with the bombing that killed many lives, it goes to prove that not everyone is afraid of the tough-talking president and the police chief, and went on with her encantadia joke saying we needed the show's character leads, Amihan, Elena, Donaya, Brina and their gemstones to save the country. Many netizens deemed her joke as insensitive, saying she was clearly seeking for attention. Whether or not that is her real intention, she surely got it fast, as her post went viral and garnered 13,000 reactions, almost 16,000 shares and 27,700 comments. Invite you to watch the video. President Duterte kisses the head of a victim who died in the Davao explosion. After inspecting and checking the explosion site, the President Rodrigo Duterte went directly to the victims of the blast that happened in the night market in Davao City. At least 14 people passed away and more than 60 people are still in the hospitals recovering from the injuries that they obtained in the bombing. The President took the time to talk to the victims personally. He made sure that he gets the chance to talk to them one by one. However, there are others who could not talk because of the injuries. Abu Sayyaf, the terrorist group, claims that they are the mastermind behind the bombings because of the orders of Duterte to eliminate them all. Duterte on the other hand paid respect to one of the victims who was killed in the explosion. Invite you to watch the video. JV Estrada slams Lea Navarro, Aquino's presidential assistant, on her rants against Duterte over Davao blast. After the recent bombing in Davao City and the social media in a haste, looks like Twitter's taking up the heat too, as JV Ejercito Estrada and Lea Navarro, presidential assistant to former President Benigno Aquino III, is engaged on a word war. Estrada slams Navarro on her tweets against the president over the Davao blast, claiming that it wasn't the best time for it and she could have picked a better time to nitpick on the Duterte government as the entire country grieve, mourn and pray for Davao. Navarro posted several tweets questioning the government's action on declaring a state of lawlessness. If you were warned, why wasn't security beefed up to thwart this tragedy? 14 people died in Davao. Who failed them? She tweeted quoting Duterte's statement saying it was not a case of failure, for we have been warned. Marcos used state of lawlessness to set stage for martial law. Honor Davao dead, don't use them as an excuse for ML. After Duterte pays a 50N ransom to ASG, it allegedly causes this terror attack. There's something terribly wrong going on here. The posts have prompted the senator to rant over the insensitivity of the critics. MG, a yellow army bomb, a hepatitis O jaundice? D neo kaya maging colorblind kahit may trahedya na? Kailangan ipagparan? He tweeted. While everyone is calling for unity and offer prayers for Davao, the others continue to attack social media. Let us pray for them as well. Although Navarro also defended her act, retweeting a netizen's tweet on Estrada saying concern over declaration of armed rule is not a political statement against Duterte. Invite you to watch the video. UAAP Season 79 Preview, reigning titleist FEU looking for new identity, head coach, Nash Rochala, last season, 11-3, champion, key holdovers, Raymer Jose, Monbert Arong, Prince Orizu, key losses, Mac Ballo, Mike Talumia, Roger Pogoy, Russell Escoto, key additions, Ken Tuffin. Just like any other year, Far Eastern coach Nash Rochella refuses to regard his team as one of the season's favorites. And he has every right to do so. "We lost a lot of players and we still have a lot of room for improvement," he said. Losing basically bulk of his starters in Mac Ballo, Mike Talumia, Roger Pogoy, and Russell Escoto, Rochella's team suffered one of the biggest talent drops in terms of manpower this year. But Rochella is still positive that the leadership of Raymer Jose and Monbert Arong will make do to lead the charge for the Tamaras. FEU is not the defending champion for nothing, and Rochella is optimistic that though his team is not the hands-down favorite, it has what it takes to get back to the top. "May Harap Talaga mag-adjust with this new team cause it seems like we're looking for a new identity. But I think we're ready na naman this season," said Rochella. Invite you to watch the video, "Dead in the Water, Why the TPP and TTIP Trade Deals Probably Won't Go Anywhere." The Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, TTIP, is dead, at least according to Angela Merkel's second-in-command. And the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, may not be far behind. German Vice-Chancellor Sigmar Gabriel said last week that negotiations with the United States have de facto failed, even though nobody is really admitting it. According to Gabriel, who also serves as his country's economy minister, negotiators from the European Union and the United States have failed, despite 14 rounds of talks, to align on any item out of 27 chapters being discussed. Gabriel and his ministry are not directly involved in the negotiations. EU officials were quick to downplay Sigmar's statement, saying they hope to close this deal by the end of the year. But Gabriel isn't the first to cry foul on the TTIP, which, if enacted, would establish the world's largest free trade zone between the United States and the EU's 28 member states. In May, French negotiators threatened to block the agreement. U.S. negotiators have also reportedly been angry over the passage of a similar agreement between Canada and the EU, which included protections U.S. negotiators don't want included in the TTIP. Last week's TTIP news comes on the heels of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, RK, saying that the Senate would not vote on the TPP in the upcoming lame duck session of Congress. The Obama administration countered, saying it still hopes to pass the deal before the next president takes office. Both trade announcements follow years of protests on each side of the Atlantic to fight the TTIP and the TPP, especially from unions and environmental groups. The fact that TTIP has failed is testament to the hundreds of thousands of people who took to the streets to protest against it, the 3 million people who signed the petition calling for it to be scrapped, and the huge coalition of civil society groups, trade unions, progressive politicians and activists who came together to stop it, writes Kevin Smith of Global Justice Now, an organization that has worked to fight TTIP in the United Kingdom. While the TPP has become a lightning rod for labor and other progressive organizations in the United States, the TTIP has slipped mostly under the radar stateside. That's partially because talks over it, which began in 2013, have taken place almost entirely behind closed doors. Among the proposals unearthed are provisions to open European public services to U.S. businesses and to scale back online privacy protections. European groups have also raised the concern that the deal could send jobs from the continent to the United States, where trade unions and labor protections are weaker than in the EU. Like the TPP, the TTIP would dismantle regulations in areas like banking and the environment by limiting government's ability to impose rules on transnational corporations. Both trade deals would further allow the investor-state dispute settlement system, which permits corporations to sue states. TransCanada Corporation, the Canadian company behind the now-defunct Keystone XL oil pipeline, is currently seeking $15 billion from Washington under a similar NAFTA provision for rejecting the controversial project. Though both presidential candidates in the United States have voiced their opposition to the TPP, neither has said much about TTIP. Hillary Clinton changed her tune on the former, which she pushed for as Secretary of State. The move is largely seen as a response to dedicated protests from unions and community groups that have been mobilizing to stop the talks since they began, and as a reaction to the fact that both her primary and general election opponents have spoken out aggressively against so-called free trade agreements. In a letter this month, a coalition of progressive groups including Demand Progress and 350 Action called on Clinton to reject a vote on the TPP in the next session. Allowing a lame duck vote, they write, would be a tacit admission that corporate interests matter more than the will of the people. Beyond progressive organizations' fold, though, lies a growing bipartisan resentment of NAFTA-style deals. A poll released in April found that just 17% of Germans and 18% of Americans support the TTIP, likely not enough to save deals like the TTIP and TPP from a political climate that increasingly sees free trade agreements as anything but free. Thank you for watching videos like you. Remember, the channel, register and comment below. Thank you.